everyone, on this episode of Coding with Kate, we are going to continue talking about CPT and working through my weaknesses of CPT. So today we are going to be talking about E&M codes, evaluation and management codes, because they confuse me. More or less the application of them confuses me. For the most part, I get their basis, but so we're going to work through it. So again, we're going to use the model of a messy pile of words, terms, etc., all of that. And I'll show a picture of it. So with those letters, numbers, terms, words, all that good stuff, I have the different portions of E&M codes, kind of like the introduction of them, and I'll try putting all of that in their correct areas, and we'll see how it goes. I have a feeling I'm going to have some trouble with some of this, but wish me luck. So let's start with what E&M, evaluation and management codes, describe. So I know they talk about levels. So we have the level of service, meaning like how in depth the service was. The level of medical decision making. So how in depth did the healthcare provider go when deciding on a treatment plan? And patient type. E&M codes describe the type of patient that was seen, new or established patient. Pretty sure I got those right. Patient type, got it! Level of service, yes. Level of medical decision making, yes. And I forgot one. I forgot about the setting. So the setting describes where the patient was seen, and I should have remembered that, because in the book, in the E&M section, they have the different titles of physician's office, critical care center, home care, nursing home, etc. So you also can define where the patient was seen. Okay, now defining new and established patient. So a new patient has not received services in how many years? I remember it's 3. For some reason, I remember it's 3. So if you have not been to that healthcare provider's facility to see that physician or anyone else within that partnership in 3 years, so if it's been more than 3 years, and you go back, you would be considered a new patient. An established patient would be under 3 years. So if you have gone to your healthcare provider within that 3-year limit, so 1 year, 2 year, or under 3 years, you would still be considered an established patient. I know those are right. I don't have to check the answer key. I'm confident. Okay. Now, the factors in E&M services. I give myself a little head start. So I know that there are 3 key factors and 4 contributing factors. The key factors are things that are directly connected to any of these. So the medical decision making would be one of those. That's something that is going to happen in the visit with your healthcare provider. There will be medical decision making happening. The healthcare provider is going to get your history, your medical history, what surgeries you've had, immunizations, what medications you take, what diagnoses run in your family, that sort of thing. And then the examination because the healthcare provider is going to examine you to figure out more about why you came in. So if you came in with a wheezy cough or something, they're going to examine you by listening to your lung sounds, etc., so they can figure out what the diagnosis is. The 4 contributing factors, these are like the ancillary things that contribute to these. So that would be the presenting problem. Depending on what you come in with, will decide what type of examination you're going to have. Also, the medical decision making that will happen. Coordination of care. So I think what they mean by coordination of care is if you are seeing multiple people within the healthcare facility, specialists outside of your primary care physician or going to see a radiologist, etc., they all have to be working together so they all know your treatment plan, your history, etc., so that all needs to be coordinated together to make sure your primary care physician can treat you effectively, I think. I don't know. And then counseling. So depending on what they find in your examination and what medical decision making your primary care physician makes, they will counsel you as far as what the treatment plan is, what you should do after this visit, any follow-ups, etc. I think that's what they mean by counseling. And then the last one is time. So depending on what your presenting problem is, will gauge how long or how in-depth the examination is going to take, how much kind of a history they need to acquire from you, so that would gauge how much time they actually spend with you in the office. So again, if you come in with a small laceration, for some reason you decide you have to go into your primary care physician to look at it, that might not take a lot of time because they'll clean it, make sure it's not infected, bandage you up, and then send you home. Not going to take a lot of time. The examination was really quick because it was just the laceration on your finger. They don't need to get a medical history from you. Unless you have like anemia or something where the bleeding might be a problem. But other than that, won't spend much time with you because your presenting problem was pretty quick and not very severe? I don't know. And then the very last thing we need to talk about, excuse my dogs and their barking. So you've all noticed that I have dogs that bark in the background. I don't think they're going to stop barking. So, the last thing we need to talk about is what the E&M codes look like. And I know that from a previous video, in HCPCS Level 1 CPT Category 1 codes, which is where E&M falls in, those are all numbers. So we can get rid of the fake codes that I had in my messy pile to throw me off. We can get rid of those. So we are down to 99256 and 84371. And thankfully I remember, because this is going to be hopefully a fun little thing to help you remember. E&M codes start with 99. And why I think that is easy to remember, because E&M codes is the first section of the CPT Category 1 codes, and it starts with a 9. And if you're a perfectionist, that would drive you crazy because it's not numerical order. 99 should come at the end, but they don't. E&M codes are in the beginning, and they start with 99. So that is an introduction to E&M codes. Let's check my answers, make sure I got those right. New patient, 3 years. I was right about that. Established, 3 years. Yes. E&M codes, they do start with 9-9. 3 key factors. History. Yes. Examination. Yes. Medical decision making. Woo! Got that right. 4 contributing factors. Counseling. Got it. Coordination of care. Yes. Presenting problem. And time. Woo! I did it! That was actually easier than I thought it was going to be. Go me. So that is the intro of E&M Codes. In the next videos, we'll go in depth on each portion of this because these portions can be a little confusing, at least for me, because they're the ones that have the tables that make no sense. So we'll focus in detail on a lot of this stuff. I will have a link in the description to the previous CPT video so you can watch those. You can subscribe to this channel to get updates on any new videos that I post so you're always in the know. And if you want to follow along on my path to understanding CPT, I have a feeling in some of these videos it's going to be a hoot and very funny and interesting. But hopefully I learned something, and hopefully you learned something. And you can like this video if you, again, liked this setup of using the activity to help understand and learn the information. And I will see you all later. Bye!